I'm Clover. I'm 14. I identify as non-binary. I use he, they pronouns, and I am bisexual.
My name is Void. I'm 16. I do identify as pan. I don't really know what my gender identity is. That's something I haven't really come to terms with, I guess. Like, I go by anything, quite literally.
So my name's Jackson, or Jax for short. I use he, they pronouns. I don't know.
My name is Juke McGee. I am pansexual, junior fluid, which basically means I go by all genders.
For the longest time, I never even told people that I used he, they, or he, him, because I was too scared of getting rejected, and I was too scared of people not respecting it. But then I started to realize, like, as I got older, I realized, I was like, it doesn't matter if they don't accept it. I love who I am, so it doesn't matter. I was always really scared that I wouldn't get accepted and I would get shunned away because another church that I grew up in before I started coming here and found this as my home, they kicked me out because I was engaged to a black man. And that was totally not cool. Made me feel very isolated and scared and worried that I would lose other people, you know. I grew up in a very conservative Christian home where they believed like LGBT, all that stuff was wrong. I don't know, hearing the comments that they would make about gay people or trans people, calling them so many different slurs really hurt. And at first, when I was younger, I was like, these are people I care about. Like, why are you hurting people that are, like, they're people, they're human. Why are you hurting them like this? Like, why are you talking so badly about people you don't even know? And as I got older, my feelings about that got stronger and stronger until I realized, I was like, oh wait, I'm one of them. That's why it hurts so much.
We were going to another church for a little while. It was a little weird. There were some things that weren't right. And they said they were an open church, but one time we brought my aunt there, who is a lesbian. She has a partner. They're together. And they completely just bashed her. It was the pastor. He was like, you know, what made you like this? I'm just like, there's no way to just make me like that. Like, it's not just there. Like, it's, you know, it's a valid feeling. And it's nothing wrong. It's just who she is, and she's been this way for a long time, okay? She's like my mom's age. She's like 60-something, and, you know, they're in love. It's cool. It's totally fine because it should be fine. It hurts to see people that you loved so much hurt the people you love so much as well. And ever since then, I didn't trust him, and, you know, we eventually left. We were like, you know, we're not doing this. But, like, he was okay with me being that way for the most part, but, like, he was trying to change me, and I'm just like, you're not gonna change me, dude. It's not how it works, man. He just turned her away, and I love her so much. She did not deserve that. It crushed her, but, you know, it kind of ruined church for her, too. Yeah. Because she's been turned away. She's been put to shame. And it's horrible to see that. Just people getting put to shame for just valid feelings.
When I was 7, my parents got divorced, and so I went to this church in Wortham. It's a small town. And when I was around 8, you gotta understand I was raised with my grandpas, they're gay. So to me, gay was fine. Gay is awesome. Like, I got my grandpas. So when I was sitting down, I started bawling because the guy on the stage was preaching, saying I could find in the Bible that gay people are not allowed and they're gonna go to hell. And I was 8. I didn't understand. All I know is he's saying my grandpas are like bad, sinful people and that they need to go away. And I'm like pulling on my brothers, crying on my brother. So like it was a very bad experience, and I had to keep going there for a few years because it was the only church around. It drained me a lot, and I didn't really see the point in going to church anymore.
It's kind of like when I first came here, yeah, it was fun. It's kind of like I just did not know what I was into or what I wanted to believe in. And to this day, I still don't, but I do have a grasp of what I do like and don't like. Just don't know what to call it. And it's kind of like I'm comfortable because it's kind of like this church, it doesn't judge you for that. Like anyone's welcome to come and just sit down and talk to the Lord. It means a lot. And a part of me doesn't know why, but I just kind of accepted it. It helps a lot to know that there are people I can talk to here.
I came in and I was welcomed right away. I was like, wow, I don't normally get that in a church. Like, they're just like, they look at me weird for the couple first times and then they slowly start to creep in. No, these guys they swarm me like ants. And it was so sweet. You know, Sister Brandy was one of the first people that came up to me as well. And, you know, she means a lot to me. She's talked to me through some tough things, and she's a really good person. I deeply care about her. But Elena and Jimmy really welcomed me here and helped me feel, you know, like my feelings were valid and I was welcomed. And I was like, wow, I've never been to a church that actually like took my feelings into play and, you know, made sure that everything was good on my end too, and like made me feel at home. And it means a lot to me to have a church that can really mean something to me. Not just, oh great, I'm going to church again. It's more of like, oh yay, we're going to church, you know? I've yet to bring my mom and my aunt, but that would be awesome. I'm sure they would love it here. My aunt is a little hesitant, but Robin, this is a message to you. Definitely come here because you'll love it. I was welcomed right away. You know, people loved all over me. They continue to love all over me. It's really nice because I can relate to a lot of people. And, you know, there's people who know how I'm feeling and about, like, discrimination against me and, you know, hurt. But the nice side of that is that there's people who I can talk to that have dealt with the same things. Not saying that's good, but it's good to have people who, you know how you feel. At the other church I was at, everybody was like, oh my gosh, nobody was LGBT there. It was like taboo there. And it made me very uncomfortable. I met one once, but she never came back. That was a different story, but she never came back. Probably because she was just as uncomfortable as I was. It's just good to have a church that I can, you know, actually be open and be myself in.
In this church, I found my way here from a friend at Westwood. They told me that this was a very supportive, very open church. And I was like, I don't know. I've had a lot of bad experience at past churches. They're like, no, you trust me. You'll like this church. When I walked in, it was like I got hugged by support and the openness of this place. Like, I didn't feel any judgment, and it just made me feel like I have a place to fit in. Like, any other churches, they just confused me with what they were talking about. And here I can finally understand bits and pieces and then kind of want to learn more. They didn't say anything about how they can find in the Bible that gay is wrong. That helped. They were very supportive, and I believe half of my friends were out, like lesbians. So I was seeing them just hold hands, walking around the church was like, what? No one saying anything at them. So it was just this is a very open space. They even told me that we are open, and Melissa, she was very helpful, and she helped me with any panic attacks I have because I used to be in a very bad environment at the church, so anytime I got overwhelmed, I would have a panic attack, and she helped me a lot in that time. And the church made me feel at home. Whenever I have problems at my home life, I feel like I can go here and not have to worry about the judgment, and I can just vent to Miss Emily or Jimmy, and I don't have to worry about them judging me about what I'm venting about. And it's like a second home where I can escape from my problems in my real home. And it really helps. and I love this place. It's the first church I ever actually can say that about. Things that happened in this church surprised me, and I love it here.
I had moved away for a very long time and didn't start coming back to church till near the end of 2020, beginning 2021. But whenever I started coming back, I had already decided that I was changing my name and a bunch of other stuff. And so I started saying, hey, this is my new name, can you respect it? And a majority of a good portion of the most important people and to me were supportive. And that's when I first noticed, I was like, oh, hey, something's changed. They're a lot more accepting than when I was younger. And I started realizing the further we went on, the more accepting and the more LGBT youth coming in and stuff like that. Mostly the leaders in the church, for sure, respect like names and pronouns to their best ability and stuff like that. And I definitely think that's been a big help for a lot of the youth here. I know they feel comfortable and safe here because it is an LGBT-friendly church. And like the youth I grew up in, it was just girls and guys, straight, like all of it. That was basically it. And there wasn't anything different, like there was no LGBT, like it wasn't even spoken of here when I was in youth the first time. Coming back to Texas and starting to coming back to the church and seeing more LGBT kids and youth or LGBT, even some adults, like young adults, coming in and hanging out and going to church, and we're openly talking about LGBT subjects and a bunch of other stuff, and we could genuinely be who we are here. And I love that this has become a home for other LGBT youth. This church has been home to me for nearly 7 years now. And the first day I came into this church on a Sunday morning, Brandy welcomed me with open arms, saying, "Welcome home, baby." And the second I heard that, I knew I was home. And the people in this church have helped me so much in the past, and even still to this day have helped me so much. And so many people have been so accepting of me transitioning and going by different name and pronouns. For the most part, the whole church has been really accepting and loving about it, and it genuinely feels so good. It feels safe. It feels like sanctuary. This church has always been my sanctuary. Yeah, there's a sanctuary in it, but it was my safe place, my home. I always felt safer here. Honestly, it's an experience that I can't really explain. It's I've always been searching, when I was younger, I would constantly search for a place that made me feel safe because, like I had said before, I had gotten abused. And home life was really hard, so I always tried finding a place to go where I would feel safe and loved and would feel 100% comfortable. And coming here has become that sanctuary, that safe haven, that place that I could escape from my family and my home life, because I had run away from home. Y'all could ask Shay and Emily. I ran away from home so many times and came up to the church in the middle of the night so many times, and every single time they were there for me, and this church was there for me. They were making sure I was okay, and they helped me go through so much of my trauma. And honestly, I wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for this church.
Treat people how you want to be treated. If you were in their shoes, would you want that to happen to you?
God, Jesus, however you see the Creator, you know, they love unconditionally. They created you for you and for who you are. And, you know, they made you in their image. No matter what you believe in, you were made somehow in someone's image. It wasn't an accident. It's wonderful to know that I was put here for a purpose. You know, no matter what, you were put here for a purpose is what I believe personally. Nobody should be thought of lesser just because of who they are.